Hello everyone. Hello everyone. So today I want to talk about one of the most unexpected things I learned during my capstone project with GSK. So before this experience, I thought data science and life sciences mostly meant clinical analytics, drug discovery, or patient data. I did not expect legal and compliance teams to be one of the most interesting applications of data science that I encountered. What I learned is that modern compliance monitoring is increasingly becoming a pattern recognition problem. And that completely changed how I think about risk, analytics, and even AI. So, the industry context here is life sciences, where companies operate under heavy regulatory scrutiny. So compliance risk is always present. Fraud, improper marketing practices, disclosure issues, or operational violations are things regulators monitor very closely. So traditionally, compliance was very reactive, and something happens, a complaint is filed, then the legal teams investigate it. So what I saw instead was a shift towards a more proactive monitoring technique. So the goal is no longer just responding to violations, it is detecting weak signals early enough that organizations can intervene before problems escalate. So, what was my aha moment? The turning point for me came when we started looking at historical legal cases and regulatory filings. At first, I treated these documents like typical NLP data. I was thinking about classification, clustering, or summarization. But stakeholders were not asking what category is this document. They were asking what patterns across many past cases tend to appear before enforcement action. And that reframed everything. Instead of labeling documents, we were trying to identify risk signals. Risk rarely shows up as one obvious indicator. It appears as combinations of subtle patterns, maybe change in disclosure language, maybe recurring terminology across unrelated complaints, maybe timing relationships between events. From a data science perspective, this felt much closer to anomaly detection or feature engineering than classification. Legal experts already understand these signals intuitively, and data science helps scale that intuition. Another big learning was the importance of alternative data. Internal company data is useful, but it lacks context. External sources provided perspective like SEC filings, historical enforcement cases, public legal complaints, regulatory announcements. And when you analyze historical cases at scale, they become almost like labeled data sets. You start to see recurring structures in how risk emerges, and that allows organizations to monitor similar signals internally. One technical challenge was using LLMs in a legal context. LLMs are powerful for summarizing and extracting themes, but compliance requires accuracy. Hallucination risk becomes a serious issue. One key lesson was that LLM output should never be treated as ground truth. Instead, we structured workflows around it. Retrieval so that models reference actual documents, requiring citations or source evidence, separating extracted facts from interpretation, and keeping humans in the loop. Another major learning was how easy it is to overinterpret patterns. If you only study historical violations, everything starts to look like risk. You need examples of similar situations that did not result in enforcement. One thing that stood out to me is how collaborative this work was. Legal experts provide context, data scientists provide scalability, and the goal is not replacing human judgment, it is building systems that help humans see patterns early. This experience reshaped how I think about data science. Some of the most impactful applications are not flashy models or predictive benchmarks. They are systems that help organizations act responsibly under uncertainty. Compliance monitoring becomes less about rules and more about understanding patterns across complex data sets. If there is one takeaway I would share, it is this. Data science is increasingly moving into domains where interpretation and ethics matter just as much as technical performance. And working at the intersection requires both analytical rigor and humility. Thank you.